Welcome to the fourth ministerial briefing of the year, an essential dialogue between the Nigerian government and the people. The briefing, held on March 13, 2025 at the National Press Center, Radio House Abuja, brought together ministers, journalists, policymakers, and the general public to discuss the nation's progress in two vital ministries. Today, we bring you key updates from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development. The event commenced with a welcome address from the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who reaffirmed the government's dedication to the President's mandate.
This initiative, spearheaded by the Prime Minister of Information and National Orientation, underscores government's commitment to transparency and accountability. It serves as a platform to keep Nigerians informed about ongoing policies and programs of the Tinubu administration to ensure that citizens remain actively engaged in the nation's governance process. We sincerely appreciate the media for their unwavering dedication in covering the ministerial press briefing session. Their effort in keeping Nigerians informed about the administration's policies, programs, and achievements are truly commendable. As a cornerstone of our democracy, the media continues to play a crucial role in fostering an informed and engaged citizenry. Our country stands at a critical juncture as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu implements bold and transformative reforms to lay the foundation for a new Nigeria. Across the world, history has shown that all meaningful reforms are never easy. They demand sacrifice, resilience, and commitment to long-term progress. The initial pains that often accompany these changes are the necessary price we all have to pay for a more stable and prosperous future. I want to sincerely appreciate Nigerians for their patience, perseverance, and unwavering belief in the President's vision. These reforms are not just well-intentioned, they are essential for the growth and development of our nation. Let me say that we have crossed the Rubicon, and the pains are gradually easing as the positive impact of these reforms are beginning to manifest. Already, we are witnessing a marked reduction in food prices, stability in the exchange rate, and a gradual decline in the cost of petroleum products, which are clear indicators that the reforms are indeed yielding deep results.
The Honorable Minister of Education presented an in-depth analysis of the challenges and solutions within Nigeria's education system.
We have about 60 million Nigerians between the ages of 5 and 14 years old. Of this 60 million Nigerians, 45 million of them are learning poor. What do I mean by learning poor? That means a child that belongs to these 45 million within the category of the 5 million people cannot read age-appropriate tests at the age of 10. We have one of the highest burden of children that are learning poor in the country. And we also have an enviable record of having the second highest number of children that are out of school in the world. Of these 15 million people that are out of school, 50% of them have never been enrolled in school. 5% of them are dropout, and 25% of them belongs to the Amajiri category. Looking at our girl child, the female population, we have 20 million adolescent girls today in Nigeria between the ages of 12 and 19. And 6 million of those young Nigerians are out of school. And with a fertility rate of about 103 births per thousand. We have our population is projected to rise in the next 25 years to 400 million. We have to sprint. Today, we have clear strategies on how to do this, to address all these challenges that have laid before Nigerians.
To combat these issues, the ministry has adopted a transformative strategy aimed at transitioning Nigeria from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based one.
Clear strategic goals, which is moving a nation from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. We have that capacity. Nigeria has a unique demography in the world. Very unique. Good democracy, good demography that we need to tap. We have a population of 220 million people. Of these 220 million people, 70% of that population, they're below the ages of 30 years. But vibrant, youthful population, dynamic population, eager to learn, eager to work, making changes, both in Nigeria, globally. So what do we need to do as a government is to equip them with the skills that they need. Clear strategic goal to reduce the number of out-of-school children, reduce learning poverty, increase skills and human capital development. We have a clear 3 pillars on how we're going to do this and how we're doing this. Equitable access to basic education that will give us, that include increased level of literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking with skills. Reducing the burden of our out-of-school children and integrating these kids into formal education, giving them formal education, and beyond formal education, giving them life skills for them to be able to be useful to themselves, to the community they live, to the country, and the world at large. The second pillar, increase quality of education and learning outcomes. I'll go into each of our strategies under each pillars. And the third pillar, strengthen governance and management in our education system. With these clear 3 pillars, we have 3 cross-cutting enablers: data and digitalization. We need data. Without data, you can't really plan. We need data to plan, intervene, and monitor outcomes. We've laid out a clear, robust data and digitalization agenda for our education system. We have inaugurated the Nigerian Education Data Infrastructure Platform. We're working closely with the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, as well as NIDA. We have a clear agenda on how we will roll all our education data from the foundational level into one data, going to our secondary school level, as well as a tertiary school level. We also started intense collaboration with our subnational government. We've met with the Nigerian Governors Forum, and we also have a series of meetings that are planned ahead.
Next, Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, provided insights into the rapid transformation made in the aviation industry, emphasizing key milestones.
Our relationship with the UAE was very bad, very damaged at the time these governments came into office. And one of the effects of that damaged relationship was the suspension of flights, the Emirates flights between both countries. We are at the cusp of bringing them back at that time in July. So we are happy to report that we continue those diplomatic shuttles. We entered into a new BASA agreement with the UAE, bilateral service agreement. We negotiated back and forth, and we succeeded in opening that route again to Nigeria. So Emirates is back. They started October 1 last year. But that is not all. That is not all. In bringing them back and signing a new BASA agreement, we ensured that we took care of our local airlines and the interests of our local airlines. So we negotiated a couple of things with them. we said, look, can you enter into code sharing agreements with some of our local airlines in order to develop these local airlines too? Because the truth of the matter is that sometimes when you bring some of these international airlines, yes, you are happy about that, but then you also bring them in direct competition with local airlines which do not have the capacity to compete with them on some of these routes. So the best way and the most clever thing to do is to ensure that they code share with them in order to also lift their capacity. So we are happy to report that today that in bringing them back, Emirates did not only come back, but they have also entered into a code sharing agreement with one of our local operators, Air Peace. Today, very soon, that code sharing agreement will take off. And so you may be able very soon to, for example, buy a ticket from Calabar to Dubai directly. And so Air Peace will lift you from Calabar, bring you to Lagos, and then you board the Emirates proper. You go to one ticket, just one ticket. You go to Dubai, and when you come back, they drop you in Lagos. Air Peace picks you again to Calabar, one ticket. That is code sharing agreement. So we have ensured that we entered in we brokered that deal on behalf of our local airlines, and more of such code sharing agreements will follow with many other local airlines, with other international airlines. We are in the process of negotiating some of this on their behalf. It also aligns with one of our 5-point agenda, which I should have started with, but we have said that over and over again, that this is the first government that has taken it upon itself to put as one of its clear objectives the support and growth of our local airlines, whilst holding them, to the best international standards. There is a hydra-headed monster that we met when we came, and we have decided to tackle it headlong. And that is the issue of using private, charter planes, which we call the private jets, using them for all kinds of illegal activities. They have been largely unmanned, unchecked, and they just operate the way they like. Beyond that, they also deny the federal government of revenue. Because what most of them do, and this has been happening for 40, 50 years, and when I came, they said, Minister, don't bother yourself with that. These are the big men who own Nigeria. You cannot tackle them, and just forget about them. This is a practice and we are losing. In fact, the committee we set up, the task force set, in the last 10 years, the federal government has lost approximately 120 billion naira in revenue to illegal charter operations. And how does that happen? If you bring in a private jet into the country, the first thing you do is to go to the NCAA and ask for a license. The license will indicate whether it is for private hopping or you want to charter, you want to use it as commercial to be carrying people, to be chartering it. And both licenses carry different amounts. I mean, hefty. The difference is very hefty. If it is what they call the PNCF, private charter, non-charter license, is PNCF, they give you a very small fee to pay because it is for your directors of your company, your family, and on and on. You want to just use it for your social events and business events. And so they give you a small fee to pay. But if you tell the NCA that, look, we want to use it for the charter, we want to use it as taxi every day, we park at the GAT there. So anybody come, I want to go to Calabar, you pay $10,000 back and forth, and on like that. They give you a different fee because you are using it for commercial. 80% of all the aircrafts brought into the country, these private jets, they go and obtain the PNCF, the private one. That is the license they all went to. But all of them are parked every day for business. All of them, I'm just breaking it down for you to understand. They are parked every day for business. And federal government is losing revenue. And so I set up a task force on curbing illegal charter operations last year. They sat for more than 6 months. And we brought some of the best hands in the industry, headed by Captain Ado, who has been with Aero for forever, and a very experienced pilot, 7-member task force. And they just submitted their report last week with eye-boggling revelations. In fact, at the point, they even said we shut down the GAT, that private charter wing, for total reorganization in terms of security, in terms of the kind of machines we used to see the bags apart. Just total, we should shut it down for total, check. Not the commercial part, we cannot do that. But that's one of their suggestions. But we are still looking into it on how to quickly do, implement these recommendations without too much disrupting passenger movement. But then, they said far more than that in terms of the illegalities that go through there. And I will not shy away from saying it. If it is the big men that are involved, the president has given us a free hand to fight this menace. They cannot run to the president. The president will send them back because the president is determined to do what is right. And so in the next few weeks, they have submitted their reports. We are tackling this headlong. In the next few weeks, we are going to be making fast-sweeping reforms. We are going to roll out fast-sweeping, far-reaching measures to curb this based on the reports that has been submitted to us. And we are going to tackle it headlong. So anybody that runs to you and say, go and talk to the minister, don't call me, oh. Me and you will quarrel. If you are my friend, don't call me because we are determined to tackle this. Now, when we came, we also met the African Aviation and Aerospace University at the cusp of takeoff. There were no admission yet, no takeoff. But let me happily report to you that the university has fully taken off. And one of the best in Africa, one of the first of such in Africa, where people can even come from outside the country to take courses here, a full-blown university on aviation and aerospace. And we are offered so many courses now. In fact, I'm still going to apply to the president very soon that he should allow me to be reading there now while I'm working. Because it's just there near the airport there. So I can become a professor and a doctor,
The minister also highlighted some key policy moves.
We have also upgraded the Mohammed Buhari Airport in Borno State, in Maiduguri, to a full-blown international airport. The Northeast have long been cheated. You have international airports in all the other zones. Why not Northeast? Northeast had not one international airport. And in line with the principle of this government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, no part of this country will be cheated in terms of infrastructural development. The president gave full approval for us to upgrade Maiduguri Airport to a full-fledged international airport. So very soon, not only Hajj operations, international flights will arrive and depart from Maiduguri International Airport. So we were in Boeing, and one of the outcomes of that visit was an MOU that we signed with Boeing. The MOU covers a lot of areas of cooperation, some of which have taken off already. Aircraft acquisition, safety practices, and other critical aspects of the aviation industry. We signed an MOU with them. So Nigeria right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the highest score in the whole of Africa in terms of the ease of doing business and the leasing of aircraft. Nigeria is number 1 in Africa. We are in the process of pushing the Fly Nigeria Act to the National Assembly. There's a Fly American Act. I think there's a Fly India Act too. Most big countries in the world, they have their acts on Fly the Country Act. What does it say? That for all official trips funded by government, you must first patronize local airlines that fly that route first. If it's only when the local airline is not flying that route, you patronize an international airline. It's going to be a law. We looked at the caterers and we said, many of them have been complaining. They are not making too much business. And so many international aircrafts are coming to Nigeria to lift our people. I was like, how can you make business? You cannot be making business when everybody is coming here. Almost all the international airlines are coming here to lift our passengers. And they are Nigerians that are lifting. So we said, no, this is Ojoro. This is Ojoro. We said, we won't accept it. When you come here, we made a clear policy. As from this year, you will patronize our local caterers in your outbound flights.
The question and answer sessions provided further clarity on pressing issues.
Nigerians are complaining about the high cost of international flight tickets. What are you doing to address this? Secondly, the committee you set up on the legal charter, one of the recommendations is the closure of the GAT terminal. We'd like to know what is the alternative are you planning, and what is the implication of this? Will Nigeria lose more money, or is there any way to get around this? Thank you.
Now we have domestic tickets and we have international tickets. I talked about domestic tickets and the fact that we don't have access to lease aircraft at very cheap costs. We only will go for the very expensive option of leasing aircraft or buying aircraft. We are addressing that. We are going to see the results very soon with the Cape Town Convention and the Dublin Conference we went to. The deals are coming in, so we'll see results there. But the international ones, one of the major reasons they used to give is that their monies were trapped in Nigeria. There was a time when we came to office, there were airlines that had three-year backlog, not just 1 year, not 2 years, 3-year backlog of funds trapped in Nigeria. We had the Naira in CBN, that's the sales of tickets. So let me explain how this happens. When their agents sell tickets to you in Naira, those Nairas are evacuated and dropped in the CBN. CBN will now get the dollar equivalent and repatriate. That is how it is done, so that the tickets will be sold in Naira. So all of these tickets were sold in Naira for 3 years plus, 4 years, but the CBN had no liquidity. You get that? They had no liquidity, no dollar equivalent to send to this foreign airline. So the funds were trapped. It's not that they were owing, the Naira was there, but they were trapped, no dollar. Because of the deft policies of this government on removal of subsidy and floating of the Naira, liquidity began to rise. And that's why I said earlier when I was thanking the president for the unusual attention he's paying to aviation. One of the first things the president did when liquidity began to rise in the CBN, the first thing was declaring of the backlog of the trapped funds for aviation. $893 million, almost $1 billion, was cleared of trapped funds.
Since the abduction of Chibok schoolgirls, schools in Nigeria, public and private, have become soft target for terrorists. Then the federal government initiated the Safe School Initiative. Honorable Minister, what is the status of the initiative?
Now, with the Safe School Initiative, this is a big thing of high priority to us. And fingers crossed and my hands on figure, you've seen the level of kidnappings that's going to significantly reduce. We're collaborating with NSA office, but with Safe School Initiative, we have a command center at the defense, the civil defense area. I won't name the exact place it is. That all our schools are meant to be linked to this center, so that they have rapid response team that will go just in case there's a program, and we have dedicated funding line to support our Safe School Initiative.
I know in Nigeria we have specialized universities, specialized colleges of education, and also polytechnics that focus majorly on TVET. But unfortunately, these days we see that some specialized institutions are awarding degrees in programs outside of their mandates. You have Federal Universities of Agriculture offering Bachelors of Art degree in humanities. You have polytechnics focusing on social sciences and all of that. So, what is the plan to ensure that our specialized institutions stay within their mandate? And then you don't have Federal University of Agriculture offering someone a BSc in accounting. Thank you, sir.
With regards to the specialized institutions, I share your sentiment exactly. When you have University of Agric, University of Technology, we should not be offering all these other courses. You have the University of Agric that is offering accounting, you have the University of Technology that's offering insurance. And when you do this and all these other courses with due respect to people that took them, by the time you are trained, you don't have a job. We have to move from the area of training for white-collar jobs. Those jobs are not available again. We need jobs in the technical sector. And if you are an employer today, it's so sad. You want to now recruit people to be electrician, plumber, tilers in your house today. You see, you have to go to Cotonou to get a tiler. You have to go to Togo to get an electrician to come and work in your house. And we have young Nigerians that are here looking for opportunities. We need to give these kids opportunity. And we will be working with the National University Commission. I've had conversation, even this is not a university problem alone. We also have it in our polytechnics. Polytechnics that are meant to train technicians, people in technology sector, vocational sectors. They give percentage of as high as 30% to these schools to admit non-technical courses.
In his concluding statements, Honorable Minister Mohammed Idris used the occasion to introduce FGN Connect, a publication of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation to keep the public abreast of government activities and progress.
Let me also seize this opportunity to let you know that the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation is also presenting to the public. Every month we have what we call the FGN Connect. This is also on the social media. It is on Facebook and all the social media platforms every month. So if you want to get accurate, correct information about government programs and activities, please grab a copy of this or go to the social media platforms and you will have it. Let me sincerely thank the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Alausa, for those revealing discussions. The Honorable Minister of Aviation, always nice talking to the media. And the Permanent Secretary, the Special Advisor to the President, Mr. Bayo and Mr. Sunday Dari, and the Permanent Secretaries here, the heads of agencies. Thank you, all of you, for coming. Keep a date with us again. We'll continue to inform you. We'll continue to bring ministers here to have conversations with you so that there will be no room for rumor again. Thank you very much, and God bless.
As we move forward, the government remains committed to advancing national development. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay committed to Nigeria's progress.